We're in volume 7 of the Bible story. My books are blue. They're 70 years old. This one, of course, we're in the New Testament. This one has a representation of Mary on the front and a toddler Jesus. And on the back has Joseph at his carpenter bench working. And we are in part 3, story 4, the Lamb of God. Okay? Seeing the glorious light upon the head of Jesus and hearing the voice of heaven, John knew for sure that he must have baptized the Messiah. Yeah, and his cousin. Okay? Now, pointing to Jesus, he said, "Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world." The people around must have wondered what he meant. How could any man be a lamb? How could any young Galilean, how could this young Galilean, this carpenter of Nazareth, take away the sin of the world? He's only like 6 months older than him. Even John himself may not fully understand the words that had been led to speak. He had been led to speak. But Jesus did. His mind went back to his first time he had seen a lamb offered as a sacrifice at the temple. He remembered too how lambs were killed in all the homes of Israel just before the great deliverance from Egypt. And all of the pattern and the pieces were fitting together one by one. One and more clearly he saw that he too must, and these pages get stuck together, be offered as a sacrifice. He could fulfill his purpose to take away the sin of the world forever. Moments later, John began to baptize again, and the long line of men and women, boys and girls, were moving slowly by as he lowered them one by one into the water. Few, if any, gave another thought to what the Baptist had said to Jesus. But because of what happened later on Calvary, those strange but wonderful words of his have lived on down the ages. Today they are reckoned among the most beautiful words ever spoken. Every time we look at a picture of Jesus or think of him hanging on a cross, we cannot bear to hear John saying, we cannot but hear John saying, "Behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sin of the world." Jesus was indeed God's precious Lamb, his only begotten Son, only very great love beyond all understanding could have led him to give this lamb to die for us. But that is just what he did. I'm sorry, robot voice, sorry. When Abraham and Isaac were climbing Mount Moriah, you remember, the boy said to his father, "Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham replied, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb." A little while later he saw a ram caught in a thicket, and the boy's life was saved. Now once more, God had provided a lamb, his own dear son, that the lives of many boys and girls might be saved. This dear lamb was not to die yet, for the time had not come, but someday, in just a little while, he would pay the price of sin for everybody. This is what John meant when he said that Jesus would take away the sin of the world. Sin, which is another name for disobeying God, brings death. God made his plan to Adam and Eve before they ate of the. Okay, rewind. God made this plain. Okay, not plan, plain to Adam and Eve before they ate of the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. But they took no notice of what he said and so had to pay the penalty. There is no way out, no way back to Eden and to the life they had lost unless someone should bear the penalty for, and then it's kind of got a more darks in it, and it's an M. de Villiers painting of John baptizing Jesus, another baptism picture. And this is a DE, and then it has a V, period, and a D, elite. So, okay. Unless someone should bear the penalty for them. And this is what Jesus came to do. Not only for Adam and Eve, but for you and me and everybody. By coming to this world as a Lamb of God and dying for our stead, he made it possible for us to live forever, just as Adam and Eve might have done if they had never done wrong. But only this is not the only way Jesus takes away the sin of the world. Boys and girls who truly love him and believe that he is the Son of God soon find out that they do not want to do anything bad anymore. Somehow, the love of Jesus so fills their hearts that they want to be as good and kind and true and honest as he was. So Jesus, the Lamb of God, not only took upon himself the penalty of sin, but also broke the power of sin. What a wonderful plan it was, and how beautifully simple. In a word, it was to love us out of sin. Someday Jesus thought, if only I give up. Oh, okay. Someday Jesus thought, if only he gave us all his love, we would begin to love him. Then we would long to be good, just to please him. At last there would come a time in a wonderful earth made new, when everybody would love him and want to be like him. Then nowhere in the whole wide world would one little sin be found. Yeah, that's later. Okay. Let's get back to the story. This was his hope and his dream, and you and I can help to make it come true by asking him to take away sin from our hearts today. And then it has a picture of the sacrifice, the altar and flame. And there's the picture, the illustration for the story. Okay, and that was part 3, story 4. So, like always, is the break, and then we'll see what happens. See you in a minute.